Hey everybody, Why So Lucky here. In this video, we're going to go through the new PUBG update, PUBG Labs, as well as the skill-based matchmaking system. So they have a little introduction here in the post. Throughout PUBG's development, we've tried to find new ways to introduce test content to our players. Most of the time, that's been through utilising our test server for new updates and features. However, occasionally we've found the need to test things outside the normal test environment, and that's where PUBG Labs comes in. And then again, it's just going to show you that you're going to have another tab in the menu that's Labs, and you'll be able to see your matchmaking skills there. So Labs will explore various experimental settings, features, and modes within the live client in a special new section of the outgame menu. From time to time, we'll drop test content in the Labs menu for anyone to try out. Players will be able to continue to play the game as usual regardless of the Labs participation. It goes on to say as well that Labs isn't replacing the test server, so major content updates are probably still going to get tested in the test server, for like the week or the 2 weeks, the usual process. Whereas just setting changes and maybe new features or even potentially game modes in the future may well just get dropped straight into the Labs, and you can test it within the normal game. And again, this is probably what it's going to look like when they finally drop it into the live servers. An update just telling you about it, which is pretty cool. And then it goes on to say again that while the survival title system's good, it's not really an accurate representation of skill, because a poor player or an average player or less could easily get to the survivor or even lone survivor with enough time, because it's not so much about how well you play so much, it's about how much time you have to play. Like, you could be in the first 10 people to die every single game for an entire season, but if you play, 5,000 games, you're still probably going to get there, even at getting 1 point a game. Whereas a good player who might only play 100 games but score top 10 every time isn't going to get anywhere close. So this is an alternative that's going to be more towards the skills of the players than the amount of time that they get to play. Which is good, because it offers a balance for everybody then. And again, it just tells you how it's going to work. So kind of like in other shooters and competitive games, you do your placement matches. You do 5 placement matches, and then you get an initial rating. Then after that point, as you continue to play under the opt-in of the skill base, then if you have good games and you have good results, you'll go up. If you have poor games, then you're likely to come down. And this is an example just showing that. And again, end of the game. Oh, I've ranked up. Awesome. So what are the things that they analyse? Your placement. But it's personal placement as well, just to note. So if you're playing in squads and you die in the first 5 seconds, but your squad wins the game, your personal placement is still poor, and therefore you probably lose points. Or on the other foot, if your squad dies early, but you soldier on and get to the end of the game, then you're going to get good placement. It also counts your kills as well. So if you're killing more people in the match, then you're going to count towards that as well. The enemy rating. So if you're in a game where the opposition is on a level playing field to yourself and you win the game, then you're more likely to go up further. Whereas if you're in a game where the opposition is rated lower than yourself, then you'll probably still gain points, but not quite as many, because so it's balanced. So if you're playing against people that are even better than you in the game and you beat them, then you're going to go up much further. And then at the end of each game, you can go into the tab and see what changed, whether you went up, down, or whatnot. Obviously, the amount that you go up and down, they'll fine tune that over time, so that it's very balanced and it feels rewarding. And then again, this is the menu that you're going to have. So you've got third person perspective, solo, duo, and squads there, and then the first person. There's also a little questionnaire thing here as well, which they talk about at the end of this trial period. You'll have the options to rate how you feel about the system, which will be good. So it'd be good to give some feedback there. I personally think this system's good, and it kind of rounds out the XP gaining in the game, because you've got the playing for survival, you've got the weapon statistics and ranking up your weapons, and now you've got the skill based as well, which is pretty good. There's something there for everybody. If you're not the most overly competitive player, you can still rank up in the survival time and go for the cosmetics there. If you are more competitive and you want to get that skill based rating up as well, well, you can focus on that, which is good. Another thing to note as well, they do have a tab where you opt in. So if you wanted to play competitive with your regular squad that evening, then you can opt in and work onto it. If you're playing with randoms, or if you're just laying back and, you know, going for kills, then you can opt out. So when you're like messing around and stuff, you don't have to put your skill based at risk. And an example of that is like the new racetrack that they put on Miramar, for example, has like a loop de loop in. If you wanted to go and try out that racetrack in a game and not really play for the win, you know, you're going to be put off testing things out like that, because if you do the loop de loop and crash and die, you've scored poorly in the game, so you're not going to do so well. Whereas if you wanted to go and test things like that, you could just opt out for a couple of games, go and test it out, have fun with that, and then continue. And it's the same with the survival pass as well. If you had like a lot of missions to like get kills with crossbows, you know, it's not the easiest thing to do, so you might opt out so you can just focus on that. And as soon as you've got that mission done, you could opt back in and continue on the way. And that's that. So hope you enjoyed the video and found the information useful. If you did, consider liking and subscribing to see more. Wookie out.